If you want to lower your scores quickly, putting is the place to do it. Putting represents about 40% of all of our strokes in a typical round, and yet we hardly ever give attention to it. So here are 5 strategies to help you dramatically improve your performance in the area of putting. So the first strategy is to minimize 3-putts. Now everybody talks about this, but the best method that I've found for minimizing 3-putts is to seek in all of your longer putts, that is outside of 15 feet, to putt the ball within 10% of your distance. So from 20 feet to come within 2 feet, 30 feet within 3 feet. And if you mentally draw a circle around the hole of 10% of the distance and simply try to drop the ball within that, then you will learn to minimize your 3-putts, not by putting defensively, but by putting freely into that larger circle. This is also a great way to practice your lag putting. So strategy number 2 is to know when to putt aggressively and when to putt conservatively. So along with the minimizing 3-putts, when you're inside 10 to 15 feet, depending on your skill level, you should putt aggressively. Those are the putts you want to save a stroke or two within 18 holes by making one of those that's outside of gimme range. So when I say putt aggressively, I'm not saying blast the ball by the hole. The 10% rule still holds in effect, but the beginning part of the 10% rule is at the hole rather than the hole being centered for the 10%. But once you get beyond that 15 feet, now you're in minimize 3-putt strategy. And you now putt simply to try to drop the ball exactly at where the hole is every time, with 50% of your putts going a little bit beyond and 50% of your putts coming just a little bit short. And the pros are experts at this, almost always getting beyond the hole from inside 15 feet, and yet outside of that, having 50% drop short, 50% long. So the key in putting aggressively is make sure you get the ball to the hole. Don't play so aggressively that you bring 3-putts into play because you've blown it 4 or 5 feet by, but get the ball to the hole in those shorter putts. So the one caveat to this aggressive rule of thumb is on very sharply breaking putts or sharp downhill putts, you still may have to putt very conservatively, because to putt aggressively in those circumstances brings 3 putts into range. Playing 1 foot by can take you 10 feet by. So pay attention to that as the caveat to putt aggressively within 15 feet. So strategy number 3 is to miss on the high side, not on the low side. So one of the things you hear is that the high side is the pro side and the low side is what amateurs do, and that you'll miss more putts if you're on the low side. And that is honestly true. But I think the more important reason is because from the high side, with the green sloping in that direction, if you miss on the low side, the ball will be traveling with a lot of speed away from the hole, whereas from the high side, the ball can slowly kind of come right down to where the hole is. So it both gives you a better chance to make the putt and at the same time prevents the terrible 3-putt. So strategy number 4 is a mindset. I would encourage you to look at every putt that you hit as a straight putt. If a putt is going to break 3 feet or 6 feet or 10 feet, the tendency, if we don't think about hitting a straight putt, is to try to guide the ball in the direction of what we think is the break. We are prone to pull or push depending on what our mindset is towards guiding the ball towards the hole. By planning on every putt being a straight putt, once you've read the putt, you know how fast it's going to go, You know where it's going to turn. So once you step up to the putt, all of your time and energy is to hitting a straight putt at the right speed. Now, you might know that it's going to break 3 feet, but if when you line up your putt, your one goal is to hit a straight putt, then your putting stroke is going to be so much more sound. Regardless of how much it breaks, the goal is to hit the ball with a straight face in a straight direction and then let the green handle the break. So the 5th strategy is one that is a personal favorite of mine that I've learned, and that is to calibrate your distance control on the practice green before each round. So what I do is I will step onto a practice green at somewhere around 30 feet, and I'll look at the green to determine, does it look slow? Does it look fast? What do I feel? And I'll stripe my first putt to see, is what I'm seeing and what I'm feeling the same as what happens with a putt. So very often my first 30-foot putt will end up 3 feet short or 3 feet long. And at that point, I know that the greens are running a little slower or a little faster than what my eyes see. So now when I get to that first green and I read it, I'll know I need to putt a little bit more aggressively or a little bit more conservatively than what my eyes seen. So the practice green, in just a few putts, can calibrate your speed control for the entire round. So I hope these tips help you putt better and knock 1 or 2 strokes off your score. If you like these tips, please hit the subscribe button. Thanks a lot.